we have a very important Evergrande default update to get into here today. But I also want to go over what is a realistic timeline to actually expect a bankruptcy announcement, because defaulting, while it is not good at all, what is worse is the bankruptcy announcement. And that's what dropped the S&P 500 about 5% September 15th, 2008, when Lehman Brothers declared bankruptcy. I wanted to make sure I got the date correct. September 15th, dropped the markets 5%. I expect a similar thing to happen with Evergrande once they actually do announce their bankruptcy. And this is inevitable. It's going to happen. But when is the timeline? How long is it going to take? That's what we're going to talk about here in this video. So hit the like button for me. Consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know down below in the comment section, how long do you think this situation is going to take before Evergrande does officially be declared bankrupt? So let's get into this video. Let's get into the most recent updates. So what you guys need to know is that China Evergrande Group has 2 more dollar bond coupon payments due Tuesday. Interest that investors aren't expecting will be paid after the property giant failed to do so on other debt. The dollar amount of interest that was due today is about $252 million. We know there is also a 30-day grace period, so they don't technically default on this, even though it was not paid today, for another 30 days or so. But even if they fail to pay this payment that is due today by 30 days from now, does that mean bankruptcy will be announced? Not necessarily. I want to give you guys the timeline on how long this could actually realistically take. And to think about that, you have to look back at history. What is the most recent example of a very large bankruptcy that happened? Well, look no further than Lehman Brothers. They had about $600 billion worth of debt, and they also had about $600 billion of assets. Unfortunately, that is not good enough to save the business unless the government comes in and does a bailout. But it does seem increasingly less likely that the Chinese government is going to come in and bail out Evergrande, as Evergrande has over $300 billion of current debt, and they probably only have half of that amount in assets. So about $150 billion in assets is what I would imagine. They are substantially upside down at the current moment. So what does that ultimately mean? That ultimately means they will be forced to file Chapter 11 bankruptcy. That is when shit will hit the fan. That is when liquidity will be dried up for any and everybody that is investing in China, as well as invested in any public markets anywhere. That's going to send rippling effects through the stock market, potentially through the real estate markets in America, in Europe, and abroad as well. So what is the new update that has been circulating over the past couple of days we have not actually covered here on this channel is that China Evergrande says construction has resumed at vast majority of its projects. To be more specific, troubled property developer China Evergrande Group said construction work has resumed at more than 90% of its stalled residential projects. Now, this is key, and what I personally think is happening is China is saying you need to start basically completing a lot of your residential properties that you have already had money committed to. Because the way China real estate works, it's much different than the United States. A lot of these are actually apartments, so these projects are very large. The way to mitigate that cost and that risk, in theory, associated with creating a whole apartment building and then hoping they sell for a certain price, is China property developers like Evergrande will take payments and basically pre-sell these apartments for, say, half the amount down, and then the other half once it's completed, so they get some money to help put into the construction cost of these big business ventures. Because like I said, over 90% of the Chinese population actually lives in apartments. So when they do that, and then you see that your suppliers shutting down, and then you see all these payments coming up at the same time, and you also see a worker shortage because nobody wants to work for you because you're not paying your bills, that's where the situation first started. And at this point, it is way too late to fix any of this. I know you guys are investors in AMC. Think back, AMC was just losing hundreds of millions of dollars per month with 1,000 locations. Imagine what Evergrande has lost every single day that they have not been doing anything. They have incurred billions and billions and billions of dollars in losses since just August when we were talking about this. Probably another $50 billion worth of losses just for not doing anything, not, building anything. And that is ultimately going to be the demise of Evergrande. We need to now talk about how long it's going to take for Evergrande to declare bankruptcy. And to understand this, how long it takes for a large business with hundreds of billions of dollars of debt as well as assets to actually go under, a couple things have to happen first. And in the case of Evergrande, we have seen these things come much faster than with Lehman Brothers. First thing, you have to acknowledge the issue and the problem. Obviously, China real estate has been in a bubble for the last 5 or 10 years, really since about 2012 when China started artificially boosting up its GDP by just building buildings everywhere. That's why you have ghost cities, like 15 of them across China. Massive cities with empty apartment buildings. It's because of that. That's where the problem started. They knew it was going to be an issue down the line, and now we are down the line, per se. The second thing that happens is that other businesses may try to buy them out, or they may try to seek to essentially get bought out. That has not happened. Evergrande has not even been successful in selling one large property like there was a couple properties they were trying to sell. That has not happened. Nobody wants to be involved with Chinese real estate. The third thing that has to happen is essentially a government bailout, or talks about a government bailout. That has happened. And there's no sign of that is actually going to happen. It looks very unlikely. I'd be very surprised if China bails out Evergrande. The fourth thing happens, debt restructuring. And that was basically from the get-go. As soon as we heard about Evergrande debt issues and, them not being able to pay their note holders, their bond holders, that has been in the talks, in the works, per se. And nothing has come about through any of these four things that we just mentioned. Nothing has changed. Now, you could argue China is more secretive, but these things tend to get out. So what is the current situation with Evergrande? How long is it really going to take? Like I said, you have to look back at history. Lehman took a long time. It says Lehman sees more subprime woes. Lehman Brothers said Wednesday that turmoil in the subprime mortgage business is likely to persist, but that could open up some opportunities for the firm. This was March 14, 2007. They didn't declare official bankruptcy until September 15, 2008. So that was over 1 year since this article was made in 2007 until they actually declared bankruptcy. About 1 year and 5 months. But these events took a while to unfold, and these stages of debt restructuring, of a possible government bailout, of them actually missing bond payments, all of these things that we talked about, those four things, they happened a lot slower with Lehman Brothers. We've seen this happen a lot faster with Evergrande. So if I were to imagine, it would not surprise me to see an official default from Evergrande by early, mid, or late summer. It's likely to happen sometime in the summer. Nobody wants to be a part of the real estate business in China at the current moment. You're not going to see outside funding come in. A lot of even regular people, I can't really attest for Chinese people too much, but I wouldn't imagine somebody would want to buy a house through them or build a building through them if there's no guarantee it'll actually get done and their business, right, Evergrande, will still be there, by the time your business gets done. The last thing you want to do, pay for a house with people that are all in the news because they are about to go out of business. So all in all, this is definitely going to help restrict that liquidity in the marketplace, and it's going to help the AMC movement, but it could be months from now. It could be by summertime. This is not to cause FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. This is to be realistic with you guys. And I think that's the best policy to be, is just realistic, open, honest, and transparent. If it happens faster, great, cool. I will welcome that any day of the week. These are only my thoughts, and these are only my opinions. So hit the like button for me. Consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know down below in the comment section, when do you think Evergrande is going to declare bankruptcy, or do you think they will not declare bankruptcy? My personal opinion is, as was said in this video, I think it's impossible for them not to. But what is your timeline? Let me know down below in the comment section. Check out the pinned comment as well down there, and the links for free stocks in the description of this video. Link for Moomoo, Public and Webull. Definitely check out Moomoo as well as Webull. Get all the free stocks your heart desires. If you do both those links, you'll get 6 free stocks. Can't go wrong with some free money, especially in this day and age in the marketplace and this volatility that we have been seeing. So love and appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.